Hey everyone, have you ever wanted to say that a movie was good, or maybe that yesterday was cold in Japanese? You know, talking about the past, it's a huge step towards sounding more natural. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to do that with Japanese adjectives. And trust me, it's way easier than it sounds.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basics of talking about the past. Then, we'll jump into rule number 1 for I-adjectives, followed by rule number 2 for na-adjectives. We'll also tackle the one big exception you've got to know, and then we'll wrap it all up with a super handy cheat sheet. Let's get into it.
So here's the secret to talking about the past with Japanese adjectives. It all comes down to one thing. There are two main types. That's it. Once you know which group an adjective is in, you just follow a super simple rule for that group. It's really that straightforward.
All right, let's jump right in with our first group, the I-adjectives. And you guessed it, they get their name because they all end with the hiragana character I, which is pronounced I. So we're talking about words like samui, samui for cold, or omoshiroi, omoshiroi for interesting.
So how do you make these past tense? It's basically just a little switcheroo. You take your adjective, like samui, you chop off that final I at the end, and you replace it with kata. That's kata. So samui becomes samukata. See? Super easy.
Okay, let's see this in action in a real sentence. So, kino means yesterday. We take our new word samukata, and then we tack on des at the end to keep things polite. Put it all together and you get kino wa samukata desu. Kino wa samukata desu, which means it was cold yesterday. Simple as that.
This little chart here lays it all out perfectly. If you want to say something was a certain way, the positive past, the ending is katta desu, katta desu. But what if it wasn't? For the negative past, you use kunakatta desu, kunakatta desu. So, to say it was not cold, you'd say samoku nakatta desu, samoku nakatta desu. Those are really the two main endings you need for I-adjectives. All right, on to our second category, the N-adjectives. Now let's see how these are different. We're talking about words like genki, genki, which means healthy or energetic, or a word like kirei, kirei for clean or pretty. And here's some great news for you. The rule for these is even simpler. Seriously, with the I-adjectives, we had to drop a letter, right? Here, you don't touch the original word at all. You just add the ending straight on.
So, for these, it's just about picking which ending you need. If you want to say something was a certain way, you add deshita, deshita. And if you want to say it was not something, you add the slightly longer ending, dewa arimasen deshita, dewa arimasen deshita.
Let's look at a practical example so you can see how this works. Ano hito means that person. We take our adjective, genki, and let's say we want to express that they weren't healthy. So we just attach that negative ending we just learned, dewa arimasen deshita. The full sentence is, ano hito wa genki de wa arimasen deshita. Ano hito wa genki de wa arimasen deshita. Okay, you've mastered the two main rules. You're doing great. But you know, there's always one exception, right? And this is a big one you're going to use constantly. So the troublemaker is the word for good, which is I. Now, it looks exactly like an I-adjective, right? It ends in I, but it doesn't follow the rule. This one trips up so many learners, but I promise, once you see the trick, you'll never forget it.
So here's what you can't do. You can't just drop the I and add kata. You'd get I kata, and that's just wrong. Instead, for this one word, the root actually changes from I to yo, yo. Then you add the past tense ending. So the correct way to say was good is yokatta desu, yokatta desu.
And believe me, you are going to use this phrase all the time. For example, to say this movie was good, you'd say, kono eiga wa yokatta desu, kono eiga wa yokatta desu. Just burn that phrase into your brain and you'll have this special rule down forever.
All right, let's pull everything we just learned together. Think of this next slide as your personal grammar cheat sheet. It's got everything in one place. This is your main takeaway. So, here it is, the whole shebang. For your I-adjectives, you drop the I and add your ending. For na-adjectives, it's even easier. You just add the ending on. And for our one special exception, I, remember it changes to yokatta. This is the perfect little guide to save for when you're studying.
So, let me ask you, how was this explainer? Hopefully your answer is yokatta desu. I really hope this helped clear things up. Now get out there and keep practicing.